Welcome to the Superhero's Journey, episode number 6, a podcast where we talk mainly about superhero movies and TV shows with a bit of Star Wars and other things in the genre. My name is Carl Freemerman, and with me is my co-host,
Brian Shores.
You can find us on Twitter at Superhero Journey. That's no E in super. Follow us there. Write to us at the Superhero's Journey at gmail.com, where heroes is plural, not possessive. All right. So let's begin this episode.
Yep.
With what do we want to talk about first? Let's talk about that thing you just showed me that I didn't know about.
Yeah. The ever so painful and confusing interview. We'll throw Kevin Feige in there, even though he didn't really say anything. With Amy Pasquale from Sony, where they're discussing the Venom, Black Cat, Silver Sable movies. And their relationship to the MCU, where just days prior, Kevin Feige said that they had no plans on them being part of it, and now
he's sitting right next to her while she's just saying pretty much the exact opposite.
Yeah, he is very loudly not saying anything with his expressions, where she's just saying like, "Oh yeah, no, they're gonna. It's part of the universe that they created. However, it's gonna be, separate from it. It's going to be adjacent to it. It'll take place in different places, but it's the same world because they did such a great job at creating these chapters." And I'm like, how are you like an executive at Sony and not realize that they're actually bringing back, it's not chapters of a book, but like the old serials, that you had in the 40s that you watched Captain America in the first movie.
And she made a comment that it's like chapters that make you want, that you need to watch so you can see the next ones and make you want to watch all of them, or whatever, however she said it.
Where she's basically saying like, no, you have to watch all of these or else you're not going to get that movie.
Yeah, right. In my head, I'm like, no, that's what you do with Amazing Spider-Man 2. That was terrible.
Yeah.
And that's not what the MCU does. It does not force you to watch all of the movies. Now, some of them, it would be smart to watch the others beforehand.
Yeah.
But you can always kind of understand and be a part of what's going on and enjoy it without having seen anything else.
Yeah, there's really only two that stand out to me where you kind of have to see at least one other movie.
Sequels being obvious, usually, you should probably watch the one before.
Yeah, but like the most glaring one where I feel like you need to have like some kind of history to it would be Civil War. Because it's so loaded with stuff from the other movies, because you have a lot of stuff coming from Age of Ultron and obviously Winter Soldier, which, I mean, if you just like movies, you should just watch Winter Soldier anyway, because it's, take the superhero element out of it, it's still just a great movie. You
should watch the entire Captain America trilogy. It's
couldn't agree more.
In my opinion, one of the greatest movie trilogies, God damn it, ever
Words
made.
Are hard.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's up there with, like, the best, like, Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and
so much better than Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, what else are the big trilogies?
Godfather.
No, there's only 2 movies in that one that are good.
Yeah.
Well, that people consider good. I don't personally like them that much, but no. There's other ones out there. But anyway, so this is so weird because I can't, like, his expression was so like, "God, what are you doing right now? Why are you saying this? This is not what we talked about. This is not at all how the plan is going."
Yeah, I think very much the impression that I got from watching it was, because I was fortunate enough to find it first without the YouTube embellishments of the troll face and the, just the "God help me" captions underneath.
I could not find it without that, and it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, no, it makes it so much better. Go ahead and watch them.
They're like the sad Affleck thing, but not as sad in that, like Affleck thing was like he was literally sad. This is more like
he's just it's like "God help me."
Yeah, right.
But my impression from it very much was like, okay, we have this deal. We're agreeing to acknowledge that you have this world that's going to be attached to our world through Tom Holland, and that's where it ends. And that's where that's the impression I got from Kevin Feige. And then you have Amy Pascal from Sony, who's just over the moon jubilant of just kind of adding to it, and he very much just want to say like, shut up, like this is you're adding too much to it. Like don't lump us in with you because I have no control over what you're gonna do. Where I have control over what we're going to do with Spider-Man, so I'm going to guarantee that's good. You can't guarantee that what you're going to do is good.
I feel like she's just like, yeah, the MCU is great and it's doing really well and our stuff is connected. Yeah, watch it. You should. If you like all of that stuff, watch all of our stuff. Money. Yeah.
You know, okay, do you know what, I refrained from saying this while we were watching it, but I know, I don't know if you're going to get the reference, but do you know who she reminded me of so much? Was Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter.
Well,
like she had like a lot less pink
not
on,
quite as mean or sinister.
Well, not mean, but just like that, just the over the top, just perky and excited because I know that I'm right. You know, like right. that came through. I mean, she wasn't like cruel. She wasn't making like Kevin Feige right. Like I will include Venom in the MCU and have that scratch in the back of his hand. But
so again, if Kevin Feige, you're listening, or anyone involved in Marvel,
just buy Sony.
or Disney, please buy Sony Pictures, not the whole company, Sony Pictures, and just stop the madness. Okay.
Or just pay out whatever they want to just get all their superhero properties.
There's no amount of money you can pay them. Like nobody sells IPs.
I know. Well, especially not after,
rare exception, but
yeah. I'm pretty sure I remember George Lucas selling some IP a while back.
Yeah. Well, he sold all of Lucasfilm, which included the IP, it, right? So that's different. You buy a company that owns the IP. You don't buy the individual IPs from a company.
Yeah, that's rare.
It's very rare, yeah. So let's move on.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go into James Gunn. He was talking about writing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He said that he was going to consider breaking part of the canon.
Yeah,
And he specifically said it was in reference to the mugshot sequence in the first movie, which means something that they wrote on the screen for one of the characters. Yeah. And one of the things that some people are guessing, they're saying it could be Rocket Raccoon's girlfriend character from the comics, named Lila, who's an ascension otter character.
Of course.
And they're thinking that maybe she was listed as a known associate of his, and they might maybe put her in the movie as a new character, him just meeting her. So that would sort of break the canon, but in such a small way. Like, it's so... I wouldn't care if he did that, because he's done just a great job. Like, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
James Gunn, you know?
I also don't really know... Unless he has... Like, I imagine for him to take the tag of saying, like, I want to do this to break the canon. I don't know why it would be so difficult to just write that in, because all these characters have had such, like, you know, they've all had lives before what we saw in the first movie. So why couldn't it just be, you know, somebody that he got busted with, you know, years ago, and it's a known associate, and this is like him reconnecting, or just like, oh, hey, yeah, I know you. We got busted together, you know, doing that one job, you know, and then they're developing the relationship.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of ways they can go about it. I don't really care about breaking the canon,
it's
especially
such a small thing like that.
Yeah.
And there are ways you could definitely write around it. I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't. It's not that big of a deal, so he doesn't want it to affect his writing, which I respect.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, if it was a major thing in the story somewhere in any of the other movies, then I would say no, you can't do that, because that's the whole point of the whole cinematic universe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, pretty much anyone that's done a recent Marvel property, I trust their judgment. Like Joe Johnston, the Russo brothers.
Well, that was a long time ago. Joe Johnston.
It was, I mean, Captain America.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
First Avenger.
Well,
How long ago was that?
Dude, probably a while.
Yeah.
But
right.
Well, no, but I mean, I think that was just on the forefront of mine because I really
Scott Derrickson,
I really love that one. Yeah, Scott Derrickson, like, you know, like I trust what they're gonna do, and for it to be just one name, like one word that you could barely read for a half second on the screen.
Yeah, and you could even say that they got all that wrong. Like, because it's in the prison, and then maybe they had the wrong information, or they could explain it.
Speak that way with the Nova Corps.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Damn Nova Corps. What do they know?
I mean, a lot, apparently. I don't know. I still miss the Nova Corps from the second movie, but that's just because I'm a Green Lantern fanboy, and that was really close to being the Green Lantern.
Maybe we'll see them again. There's a good chance.
I hope so. Yeah. I honestly would watch. I would love to see an entire like Nova movie.
I mean, if they're building a cosmic universe, that could definitely be part of it, and it should be part of it.
Yeah.
So see where that goes.
Yeah.
So let's see what. Move on to Transformers. So the movie's coming out very soon. The new movie.
Yeah.
And I don't plan to ever see it.
No.
But I will mention that there is a Bumblebee spin-off movie in the works, not directed by Michael Bay.
Sure.
And it's going to be set in the 80s.
Yeah, and he better be a Volkswagen Bug.
He's not going to be a bug.
I know.
I mean, I don't understand. Was in the context of the first movie, was Bumblebee there for that long?
Yeah, dude. He was like the main Transformer in the first movie.
No, but it's like since the 80s?
No.
I don't.
Dude,
I personally can't remember how the Transformers got to planet Earth in that movie. It's been that long.
Well, that's what I'm trying to remember. Because I know, like, I mean, Bumblebee could have been there. But I do remember there was one scene where I think one of the Transformers, like, went somewhere and they sent out a signal, saying, like, hey, we found the Allspark. I think that's what it's called.
The first one could be.
Yeah, the cube.
Or was the Matrix maybe?
Was it? Dude, I don't know.
No, that one was just a second artifact. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't remember because I thought that there was a scene where there were like meteor strikes coming down and those were the Transformers landing, but I don't know if.
I got nothing, man. I got nothing.
Yeah.
And it's so weird to think that so Bumblebee was on the planet banging around with some other person. That's just going to be Haley Steinfeld, apparently, they're saying. And just was never noticed or known by anybody or the world.
Yeah.
And was just... all of a sudden, he's just a beat-up car somewhere else for what's his name, Shia LaBeouf's character to just find. Like, what is going on? I don't want you to try to explain this story to me. And he's not going to talk the whole movie again, right? Because how long has his voice thing been bad?
Yeah.
Forever?
Well, because wasn't at the end of one of the movies, like, did they fix it and then it was broken again by the next movie?
I didn't see the fourth one, so if they fix it at the end of the third, possibly, I have no idea.
I watched the first two. I stopped halfway through the third. The fourth one I tried watching because I really like TJ Miller, and he's a comedian, if you know him.
He was in Deadpool, right?
Yeah, he was in Deadpool. And he's just a brilliant stand-up in general. But yeah, I couldn't take it. Like, there was no interest.
I was about to go to see it in theaters one day by myself, just because I'm like, I've seen the others, I'll just check it out.
Yeah.
I saw the runtime of 3 hours, and I was like, nah, no thanks.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
Those movies, you could solve pretty much all the problems I have with that movie by making it a half hour, and make it a half hour long, and just have like a bunch of one-liners that I'm gonna chuckle through, and then have a couple robots fighting, and then I'm done. Dude, actually, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that, against the movie, maybe just for my attention span or for how much I care about the property, but I think I would thoroughly enjoy just a 15-minute thing of just a couple one-liners, robots punching. Because the show was, it was 22 minutes long when the show was out.
And then supposedly there's also another spin-off movie set for this that will be possibly set in ancient Rome.
Thank God.
Yeah, that's exactly where we need the Transformers to go next, because in this one they're going to be in ancient, I don't know, England is where King Arthur legend is from, I imagine.
Yeah.
Now they're in Arthurian legend, Rome, 80s, 2000s, modern day. Like, come on, like it's absurd. It's too much. I don't care. Like, just reboot this damn universe already. Just stop.
Or, crazy idea, just let it die. Don't reboot it.
Yeah, sure, but I always wanted, I want the more cartoony looking Transformers, not.
Yeah.
I want them to be the simpler design where they kind of look like the vehicle that they turn into, not like the weird mishmash of parts and pieces that just. Like, in the first movie, it was cool.
Yeah.
And then the more they did it, the more every robot just looks like the same nonsense garbage pile.
That was one of the problems that I had with the first movie. When you get to the final battle, like, in the city, I I could not tell you which one was which fighting.
Yeah, especially the Decepticons. Like, you can't tell the difference between Starscream and Megatron and
no, like, if you just have a bunch of silver robots that are giant, and they're flying across the screen really fast, you can't.
And they don't have enough personality. I think they fixed that a little bit in some of them, but they're all supposed to be characters.
Yeah.
None of them are throwaway nonsense. You know, Starscream barely said anything or did anything.
Yeah.
He had a bigger role as things went on, a little bit.
Yeah.
But he was never that big of a character. And then just even the Autobots, like, they were all just bland and boring and didn't do too much. Like, dude, the movie needs to be about them and them alone. What's with this human crap? Like, yeah, we get it. Like, that's how these cartoons were done. But
because I know, wasn't it? It was because I know, like, the Witwickies were in the show, but it was like Spike.
I don't think that was their name, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm like 90% sure.
Yeah, Spike and his kid, right?
Yeah,
who was in the movie.
Yeah.
The animated movie.
The animated movie,
which is the best Transformers movie, and if you've never seen it, you should watch it because it's just awesome. I mean, I love it because I grew up with it.
Yeah.
It's this great 80s movie with this great music from the time, and the animation quality is actually really nice. It's very colorful.
No,
nice,
they did a decent job with it. Yeah.
And it's serious too, because like bad stuff goes down in that movie.
Spoilers.
No, let's not spoil anything. Okay, you must watch this.
Yeah.
If you don't know, watch it.
Does it count as a spoiler if it's like 30 years
You'll
old?
be heartbroken. Okay.
But
You'll be shocked and awed.
Yeah, but like what I was saying was the like, I know, like, that to a degree those characters, like those human characters, are in the show, but they should have only, I feel like they should have only been in there for the first movie to be the audience's, like, doorway into accepting the Transformers into the real world. And at that point, at the end of that first movie, if you cannot do the movie where it's just the Transformers as the main characters, it's not worth.
Yeah,
it's not a story worth being told.
Yeah, and they need to downplay the human character, and that's what they did in. If you ever watched a Transformers Prime cartoon,
which I did not,
I thought it was okay at first. Mm-hmm. I just continued to watch it, and the human characters were not great, but they were okay. They weren't terrible.
Yeah.
And as the show went on, they sort of had them have less and less of an impact, to the point where the last season or so was mainly just about the Transformers, and more of it was. And it was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot. Mm-hmm. And they did this movie finale to it to wrap up the series that actually I thought was really good as well. Yeah. And like, but in the end, Bumblebee like gets his voice back, because they were doing the thing still. It was based on the movie, so he didn't talk, and he actually talked at the end. And I was like, yeah, this is like a nice way to end it. He had a really badass moment too.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering though, is Unicron in this movie, the new one?
I have no idea, dude.
Because I loved him in the animated movie, and I thought that he was gonna be in this. He wasn't in the fourth movie, right?
No, didn't.
There was no planet-sized Transformer.
No, I don't think. No, I can't imagine.
Because look,
but dude, you know they're gonna do something stupid where it's gonna turn out that Earth is really Unicron.
Well, they did something like that in Transformers Prime, where.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, like he was like becoming the planet or something,
okay.
And his like some part of him was like on the planet, and they had to bring him back. It was an interesting way to do it differently in that one.
Yeah.
But in this, I don't know. All right. Yeah. Enough about Transformers, because I'm sure nobody cares really that much about in our show here.
I mean, honestly, I don't.
But what do you got there?
Let's see. Just a little thing, just because it's something I'm really looking forward to and excited for. And I think it's gonna do a good job at holding me over until
suspense is killing me, Ryan.
The Last Jedi comes out. I like to build up. Star Trek Discovery has a premiere date for the show.
What was it again?
It's September 24th. It's a Sunday. It's gonna be, and this I think is really weird. It's at 8:30 at night.
8:30.
Yeah, you're starting.
Weird.
You're starting like an hour.
It's an hour, right?
It's an hour, or it might be 2 hours. They might be doing the 2 hour premiere, but you're starting it at 8:30. So the only thing that I can think of is if it's 44-minute episodes, then you might be running it for an hour and a half if it's very limited commercials.
Sure.
But yeah, it's weird to start something that's like at least an hour long at like a half hour. So that was, I don't know, I thought that was weird. And then it's going to be available on the streaming service, CBS All Access.
That nobody has.
Yeah, the next day.
It's still exclusively on that.
Yeah, after the first episode or two, it's just going to be exclusively on there.
Nobody's going to watch this show.
Well, dude, and
even if it's good.
And on top of that, it's a 15 episode run, and they're doing a break in the middle. They're doing a mid-season break on it.
Really?
Everything that I've seen about this, I'm really excited for. I think it looks really good.
Yeah, it seems to be shaping up better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Like all the stuff coming out, and I didn't like the setting.
It seems like they're trying to do it seems like production is trying to make it great, and it seems like the company is trying to bring people to their app, their streaming service, and not support the show.
They're definitely using it as a tool to get people to subscribe to their thing.
It's just going to be a nail in the coffin for what potentially could be a really great show.
Yeah, because ratings are going to be poor no matter what happens. Even if every Star Trek fan watches it, I mean, that might be a good ratings, but it's not going to be good enough for CBS.
Yeah,
and
it's not like they're putting it up on Hulu, which already has a fan base. What they're doing is they're saying like, okay, if you want to see this, you now have to subscribe to another service, which is ridiculous in of itself. And on top of that, what this is going to drive people to do, and I'm sure nobody does this, and because it's amoral, but they're just going to wait until 5 minutes after it goes up on the streaming service for it to be on torrent sites.
Right.
And then somebody's going to download it, so they don't have to pay. So they don't have to pay for it, and then they can watch the whole thing commercial free because somebody somewhere just ripped the video off of the streaming service and
it was like putting that Powers show on PlayStation Network.
Yeah, which was a good show, but
I enjoyed the first season.
Yeah,
and I did not watch the second season.
No.
And now it's dead.
Yeah,
because nobody watched
the two of us stopped watching.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's only 2 fans stopped watching.
Yep.
And it's things like that are really, really going to be a problem for Star Trek going in the future if this is how they want to do things with it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're taking advantage of the fan base. That's not cool.
Yeah, it's frustrating because, and maybe I'm just looking too much into it, but you have CBS where they have one of the most popular and profitable sitcoms ever, which is Big Bang Theory, which is a show written about people that would be excited about Star Trek Discovery, and then just proving that they don't understand that fan base at all. They're now doing something to like isolate the people from it.
Star Trek, it wasn't only like Trekkies that like the show.
No.
It was a really popular show. A lot of people watched it, and it's lost its some favor over the years, but when I was younger, watching Next Generation and even Deep Space Nine, like those were big time, primetime shows that were successful.
The one thing that I am trying to remind myself was that Next Generation was a show that could not be sold to a network. It was actually sold syndicated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So and then that show went on to be the greatest Star Trek show.
Yeah.
Insanely successful, and had a handful of good
movies. Does CBS stuff end up on Hulu or something like that?
No, actually, I don't.
Or is it on Netflix? So I feel like what's going to happen is the show is just going to end up on one of those streaming providers.
Some of CBS's stuff shows up on Netflix, but I don't think they've partnered with Hulu, because I know I think it's NCIS, which is a CBS show. Hawaii Five-0 is CBS. Those are on Netflix, or at least they were. Yeah, I don't know if they're pulling out because they're going to start the all access, but
yeah, who knows, right? They might do that kind of crap.
Which is going to be so frustrating.
Yeah.
For someone, I don't know, it goes back to what we were saying, and then we can move on from this because this is only supposed to be really quick. Like, oh, hey guys, don't forget the show, watch it. But it just goes back to what we were saying about just making something good and respecting the fans for it. If you want to make something good, you can't tell me that a Star Trek show, for at least for a 15 episode season, is not going to be insanely profitable for a network like CBS. If you just put it on, you're going to get all this advertising money.
I mean, it definitely could be, and they don't seem to be giving it that chance.
Yeah.
But, watch the premiere. Anybody listening, if you like that stuff. And then, protest the rest.
Yeah.
Right to CBS. Tell them, hey, this is nonsense. We're not paying for your service just to watch one show.
Yeah.
So hold it hostage.
And I would actually encourage people to, if you enjoy it, first watch it while it airs on TV. And then and then watch it on the app also, so they see that there actually is support for it, and they don't do the thing where they're just going to pull the plug, which at this point, with everything they've invested in it, the whole season's coming out. And
maybe they'll end up just throwing it on the network at a certain time, like, nobody's watching it. Damn it. We paid all this money. Just put it on the air.
They're like, let's see, we could show an infomercial in the middle of the night, or, you know what, throw up Discovery.
It's like somewhere like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Like reruns.
It's like, I could watch this or Last Call of Carson Daly, which you have no idea how surprised I was to find out that show is still on.
Still on. Oh my God. You know what came up today randomly? Yeah. These guys were talking about, you remember those shows on like MTV? I think it was called like Next or something like that. Where
it was like the dating show.
Yeah, the dating show. Such a blast from the past to hear about that random show. And the other one, the Room Raiders one too.
Oh yeah, dude, I remember Room Raiders.
These were good shows, man. Now MTV. It was more entertaining than what's on MTV now.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they were like almost like a precursor to like the reality crap that we have now.
Yeah.
Because they weren't real. Obviously, they weren't serious. But
yeah.
Anyway, so X-Men.
X-Men, yeah.
X-Men Dark Phoenix movie is going to be written and directed by Simon Kinberg.
You guys cannot see right now. Carl is jumping up and down. I assume in joy. Joy is the one where the corners of your mouth go down and like your eyebrows like point down at your nose. Yeah. That's joy,
That's
right?
the emotion.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
If you don't know who this guy is, he is a producer mostly. He is also a writer, though.
Yeah.
He's never directed anything. He has writing credits. Now, he's produced pretty much all the X-Men movies, and even he has producer credits on Deadpool. And,
mean, he has experience within the universe.
Right. He's written... he's writing credits. I don't know how much writing. Some of these are screenplays, some of these are story. I don't know how much is all him or not, but Triple X2, the bad one.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which I kind of liked. I don't remember it that well.
Bad.
Yeah. X-Men The Last Stand, the bad one.
Yeah.
Jumper, which is a movie I liked.
Yeah, I like it.
But it's wildly different from the book, which I read, which is really good. If anybody liked Jumper, the concept of it, check out the book and the sequel. Really cool.
Yeah.
Then Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. Pretty good movie there.
Yeah.
X-Men Days of the Future Past. Debatable. I don't like that movie, but
there are some good parts in it.
Yeah, it has strong writing flaws, so not a good one. No. Fant Four Stick.
Yeah. Oh.
He wrote part of that mess. And X-Men Apocalypse, of course. The one that I actually think isn't terrible. It's just not great in any way.
Yeah, I want to make comments on X-Men Apocalypse. We should just do a review of X-Men Apocalypse.
We can go back. You know what we should do? We should talk about the... let's do like a 2015 like superhero movie special.
Dude, I'd be so into that. Yeah.
No, 2016.
2016,
sorry.
sure.
2016.
No, this is what we should do. Just like we'll just do like quick little like half-hour episodes. You guys love the behind-the-scenes stuff, right?
What are we doing here?
Yeah. No, we'll just go back and like just like we review the movies from 2016, 2015, back and then that'll get us into our Blade discussion, which is gonna happen eventually.
One day. We will definitively point out which Blade movie is the best or worst.
Yeah, Blade.
And worst.
I think we both agree that the best one is the first one.
No, I gotta watch them again.
What is wrong with you? No,
look. Okay, we'll put it out there. Blade 2 is my favorite Blade movie. I believe I have to watch them again, but that's the one I think is overall the best of the three, and I think the worst of the three is Blade Trinity.
And I will say, I think the best out of the three is the first one. My favorite is the third one, and the one that I like the least, the one that I actually just think suffers as a movie, is Blade 2. And I think it comes down to the fact that Carl's a gamer, I'm not, and that was basically like watching a video game.
Oh boy, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that could be it. We'll have to need to watch them again.
Yeah.
We'll end this debate at some point.
Yeah.
But right now, if anybody wants to chime in on via email or comment on us on Twitter.
Or on the YouTube.
Tell us what you think. Which ones are the best and worst of the Blade trilogy?
Yeah. Let's just get this going. Hashtag Brian is right. That doesn't just pertain to the Blade, just kind of life stuff in general.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. But yeah, no, please, we would love to hear from you guys about this. And I know without a doubt that I will not be on the popular end of that. But
probably not, but we'll see.
Yeah.
People like Ryan Reynolds, maybe.
Yeah. And
Jessica Biel is good to look at.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else you got there?
Let's see. Continuing with the Dark Phoenix. They did announce that it's going to take place in 91, which I think is kind of a little bit of a smart move because that's probably as far as you're going to be able to push it with the current cast that they have before you start questioning, like, why don't these people look a lot older?
Well, we already started questioning. So.
Well, yeah. Well, Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy, you really have to start wondering why they're not starting to put on the old age makeup. Because the first movie took place in the 60s. We're 20 years later. Like,
yeah.
You got to start showing some age.
What about Havoc?
Yeah. Well, he's dead.
Yeah, but he was in that movie 20 years later and looked like he was still a teenager.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think they were trying to explain that. Like, well, he was in his 20s and the actor was in his 20s in the first movie. And
like, throw us a bone. Just say mutants don't age the same.
Well, yeah,
I don't care at this point. It's all screwed up anyway.
Yeah, I'll buy that with Beast, and they said that with Mystique. Mystique, I'm totally cool with, where they're like, oh yeah, because they said like,
why would she age? She could look like whatever she wants.
Well, yeah, but they had that throwaway line in First Class where Beast is like looking at her genes, and he's like, he's like, you don't age like the rest of us, so.
Like,
in 30 years,
fill out those genes well.
Yeah. Dude, if he had even the slightest bit of a line like that, it wouldn't have been so painful to watch the two of them. But
all right, what else? There was some other set photos. Or something, right?
Yeah. There was a set photo where, if you look in the background, you can see that they have the Danger Room. So they're gonna go back to that, which is something I'm excited for because I think the Danger Room was something that was greatly lacking in the previous movies.
Let's see if they can do it right for once.
Yeah, I mean, right now we've seen 2 Danger Room sequences that have been brief, and both of them have just been the X-Men slightly fighting against the Sentinels.
Very lackluster.
Yeah, so, it's whatever. Hopefully they do something really cool with it. There was, if you look at some of the concept art from the first X-Men movie, there was some stuff that looked like it could have been really cool where you have Wolverine, stumbling into the Danger Room, not knowing what it is, and like it going into like a training sequence, and it's just him like going into berserk rage, just destroying the room. Could have been really like a really awesome scene in the movie, but
it's just a softball. Here you go. Yeah. Here's a great way to have a cool action sequence, but they're like, nah. We're just gonna let the ball go by,
Dude, they walked away from a couple softballs in those movies.
Yeah, right.
Like,
we'll take the strike.
Yeah. Well, like in X-Men 2. To this day, I don't know why they didn't do it. They made up for it a little in X-Men 3. They did it twice, but it's when Stryker is attacking the X-Mansion and Colossus goes to Wolverine. He's like, "I can help you." He's like, "No, help them." And then the next thing you see, you have Wolverine like jumping off the balcony. And killing the 2 guys with his claws. Why was that a fastball special? It's something that, like, the fans would have only appreciated. It might have looked a little silly on the screen. But it's just such a softball thing to just do. Just throw it in and be like, that was awesome. That was the coolest thing ever.
Just because they don't know how to do the comic book looking stuff on film. They haven't figured it out yet in those movies. And they never will. Yeah. Deadpool figured it out, and what did you got? You got something from Deadpool, right? There was a
they
a set photo.
Yeah, they put up a set photo where it's him just lounging in front of the X-Mansion, which again I couldn't tell if that was from this or if it was just like a shot they took from the first movie from when he was outside.
Right, cool. We'll see more. Hopefully, we get some more X-Men in that. I'm excited for anything Deadpool. It was a great movie.
Yeah.
All right, what else? I got let's do the Godzilla thing.
All right.
So there was an official synopsis for Godzilla, King of Monsters. This is, I think, 2019 release. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to read it, but the most important thing is that they said it's going to include Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah.
Now, what I hope they include in this movie, which they didn't have in the last one, is Godzilla.
More of him.
More of him.
For sure. And those human characters, outside of Bryan Cranston, who died unceremoniously.
Yeah.
And too soon in that movie. Totally wasted.
Yeah. It's exactly what we're talking about with Transformers. Like, I don't care. If you're going to call it something, show that in the movie. I don't care about the human characters as much.
Yeah, and Ken Watanabe actually was also wasted.
Yeah.
They said he's going to be in the second one, so they have a chance to redeem themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie, I mean, I want to see Mothra and Rodan, and especially King Ghidorah. If anyone doesn't know, he is the like 3-headed dragon monster one who breathes lightning breath. It's awesome. Yeah, just gonna be cool to see that.
Yeah,
so,
and
they were all teased in Kong Skull Island.
Yeah,
so let's see it. Let's do it.
Yeah, no, I have to go in with no expectations because I think there's a very high chance of getting let down by this movie.
Sure. Yeah.
You know,
I mean, when the action was going in the first movie, that was good.
Yeah, it was great.
It just took too long, and they hit it for too long, and they won't have to do that this time. So I'm optimistic that this will be better than the first one.
Yeah.
You know, just do Pacific Rim, man. Just give us that awesome action. Just don't hold back. That's what that movie did so well. It's like, no, you want giant robots fighting monsters? Here it is, over and over. Enjoy it, okay? Yeah. It's not about the human characters that much. Like, they're important, they're there, but
just don't put Charlie Hunnam in it.
Of course, yeah. Hey, John Boyega's much better star than Charlie Hunnam in my book. So
yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson's much better than Charlie Hunnam.
But he wasn't good in Godzilla.
No.
Yeah, so
he was fine. He was just forgettable. There was nothing with his character.
Enough about this. Yeah. Let's move on.
Moving on.
Okay, you want to go there with your list that's taking too long and screwing up our show?
Hey, whatever. Hey, I came in prepared, and you're like, "Yeah, we don't have much this week." I'm like, "Oh no, sir, we have quite a bit.
We're doing too much now."
Quick
stuff.
Just quick stuff. The Hall of Justice potentially being shown in like leaked set photos from Batman vs Superman, or not Batman vs Superman. I'm having nightmare flashbacks. Justice League. But yeah, it's just it's just bringing up speculation that because this stuff's being brought about for reshoots, so we don't know if it was stuff that was made for the movie and they're just bringing it out again. It's stuff that's being done in the UK, or if it's Joss Whedon really just putting his spin on it.
Yeah, and adding to that, like you're saying that they could be taking a different tone with this with Joss Whedon because they hired Danny Elfman to compose the music for this, because Junkie XL left, who did compose the music for Batman vs Superman. And Danny Elfman, his music is not the style that we saw in Batman vs Superman. It's definitely more fun and adventurous, and he did if anybody doesn't know, he did Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, Batman '89, Men in Black, and Spider-Man,
and the theme to the original Flash TV show.
Okay, yeah, I mean, he's done a lot more. I just picked out a couple that I thought were really good, interesting ones.
Because when I first heard that, I immediately went to like the dopey easy joke of okay, so it's gonna be Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash fighting to oompa oompa oompa, which is it's like it's a very cartoony thing that you do here, similar. But then I'm like, no, he did do the theme to the '89 Batman, which is like a really dark and
the Spider-Man theme,
and the Spider-Man theme is great. He's at because I always think back to the light fun stuff that he did with Oingo Boingo,
the Beetlejuice theme. I mean, come on, good stuff.
Yeah, the Beetlejuice theme is, I think it's a little more cartoony, but the dude is a great composer. Yeah. So I'm really excited for this. I think this is a really great direction. And I mean, just saying oh yeah, we got a composer to replace somebody named Junkie XL. I'm sorry, but the dude, don't get me wrong, I really like the guitar riff that they used for the Wonder Woman theme in Batman vs Superman. It made for a really cool 5-second scene where you see the Trinity together and you hear that and you're like, oh, that's really awesome. But then you break it down and you realize oh no, this really was created by a can of Monster like Monster Energy drink. Like, it's like, just don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why this guy's like. He's actually a decent composer. I don't even remember his real name, but why he went with that as his title, why he still lets people call him that. There must be a reason. I don't know. I'm sure it's fine if if I talk to the guy and he explained it, I'd be like, okay, now I get it. But I don't know. I'm
sure it's something that could be answered away with just like a real quick Googling that I'm not willing to do.
I'm not either. Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, I was a DJ when I was younger, and that was my name.
I mean, I guarantee that's what it is.
Yeah, right.
But yeah.
All right. What else we got here? I've got. So this actor who's in the Inhumans TV show upcoming, Henry Ian Cusick, who was apparently on Lost. Yeah.
Playing Desmond.
Playing a character named Dr. Evan Deaklin, who is not an actual character from the comics.
No.
But he said about the filming of Inhumans that there was a Marvel executive on the set there to make sure that they're doing things right.
Yeah, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is good news. I'm happy because some of the stuff I was reading about this show was a little worrying me. Although I think the picture we saw of the cast was fine. Like I did like that. We talked about that before in another episode. But yeah, I mean, if they're trying to keep these characters accurate and the world sort of way that they interact with each other, I mean, that's great. I want this to be done right because. If you don't know much about the Inhumans, like they're actually a really interesting bunch. Yeah, most people don't. But they're very much like a sort of, in a lot of sense, like a Game of Thrones superhero aspect because there's always a struggle for power between Black Bolt and his brother Maximus. Yeah. And he is the ruler of a kingdom, and
And Maximus was always saying, "Well, Black Bolt said this. Just ask him." See, he's being quiet. He's fine with it. That's a joke if you actually get Black Bolt's power.
They've been at odds with, other factions or powers, like, just the human world, military powers or on Earth, and even foreign powers in outer space, other aliens, the Kree, of course, who created them. Yeah. So that's interesting. We don't have to talk anymore. What else you got there?
Yeah.
Unless you had something to say on it.
No, I think it's cool. I think it's a little... it's a little strange that they made the point of saying like, oh yeah, we had a Marvel executive on the set. It's like, why are you putting that out? Did you guys get in a little trouble with where you were going with that?
But he said it, so I don't know if they asked him something, but who knows. But this show, and this is coming September, I think, and it's gonna be in IMAX. So like, I'm excited. I was done well.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun. Yeah. Like everything, I'll give it a couple episodes. Yeah. Which is more than some people are willing to do.
Yeah, somebody didn't watch Powerless.
Which is a good show.
I'll watch the Adam West episode, okay?
Dude, there's better ones.
Well, I'm gonna pay him respects and watch that episode.
I think I'll just say it really quick, because if you guys didn't see it, DC released online an unaired episode of Powerless with Adam West, just to pay respect to him and his work, and it was a really great homage to the Batman 66, and also very much shows what he thinks is funny, and it was very reminiscent of the Adam West character he played on Family Guy, where he was just kind of like absent-minded, and everyone was like, that's really weird, like, it was very like breaking the fourth wall, and it was a lot of fun.
And for most people listening, you probably don't know, Powerless was a short-lived show that was a sitcom based in the DC Comics universe about characters that aren't in the comics that is kind of weird and odd.
Not true. Vanderveer Wayne was in the comics. He was Bruce Wayne's cousin is in the comics. A lot of they do like Crimson Fox and a lot of like these characters that you wouldn't have heard of or seen on screen. They actually do show up in the show. I'll be the first to admit it wasn't a great show, but it was a really fun show. They did a lot of stuff. That I don't know. We don't need to get into it, but it was just a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's see. Moving on to something a little more relevant. Let's see. There was apparently a new app related to the Spider-Man Homecoming. And this is just like a super quick thing where you can see Ned Leeds sends Peter a text or where they reference a teacher they have named Ms. Warren, which in the comics it's Mr. Warren is Peter's teacher, who is the brother of Miles Warren, who is a very roundabout.
We're getting there.
Who is the Jackal? Who, if you guys don't know who that is, he's the guy who cloned Gwen Stacy, who then later cloned Peter Parker and cursed the world with Ben Reilly and Kane, who were two clones of Peter Parker, and gave us the Clone Saga that everybody hated because they're like, which one's the real Peter Parker? Is it Ben Reilly or is it Peter Parker? And then it turns out it's Ben Reilly, kind of. And then Kane's still bombing around somewhere, who I think he was the current Scarlet Spider, but...
Yeah, it's not a story that I ever read, but I'll give a shout out to NerdSync, who did a great video about this Clone Saga and actually what happened with it and why it didn't quite... It got extended, and the original concept actually sounded really cool and probably would have been a nice little story arc.
Yeah, I
if you want to know more, check out his channel.
It's NerdSync at YouTube. Follow him on Twitter. He actually has a lot of deep dive stuff on the comic book stuff. He gets into eventually starts getting a lot of like philosophy stuff. It's really heady but really interesting. So check it out. Scott Nicewinder at NerdSync. Shout out for somebody that doesn't know we exist yet. Everyone, tell them that we told you to go listen. Tell them Carl and Brian sent you. But yeah, so I kind of hope that's not a direction they're taking the movies, but who knows? Maybe they'll do a good job. I mean, if Kevin Feige's behind it.
I mean, if anyone can do it right, they can do it.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a terrible idea. It's just the way they implemented it.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's really all for that one.
All right.
Let's see. No.
I'll finish then on my. Okay,
fine. If you want to finish on this, I have one last one.
Go ahead.
Just because I think this is really great casting, it's going to be really fun for the show. Legends of Tomorrow cast Billy Zane as P.T. Barnum.
Oh right, yeah.
The guy who created Barnum Circus, which became Barnum Bailey Circus. He is the dude who created the term rain check. He's a great showman. He's kind of like a little bit of a con man, but if I remember correctly, but it's just going to be really fun for the show. Very much like what they did with bringing like George Lucas into the show and J.R.R. Tolkien. So I just wanted to mention that because that is something I'm excited for.
Yeah, that's really fun. People like Billy Zane. I like him.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a lot, but like the Phantom, right?
Yeah, he's in the Phantom.
that superhero movie.
Dude, that was a good movie.
I suppose. I don't remember it.
I'll amend it. It wasn't a good superhero movie. It was a really fun superhero movie.
Okay.
And it was the costume I thought.
It's no Rocketeer though.
Dude, I love the Rocketeer.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, Joe Johnston.
All right. Last thing I had here something that just kind of set me off a little bit when I read these stories on the internet. People just taking these things out of context. So there were stories writing that Chris Evans is going to be done with the MCU after Avengers 4.
Yeah.
Now, they may be right. It's a possibility. Mm-hmm. But they got this from a quote of Evans just saying that he extended his contract to include the fourth Avengers movie because, of course, it was originally going to be like a two-parter or three. Yeah. However, it wasn't actually like originally he was just signed on for 3. Then they made it a two-parter.
Yeah.
So now it's 2 movies, and he signed on to do it because he trusts them and he likes working with them, and the money's good, obviously.
Oh yeah.
So does this mean that he won't be in any movies after this? We don't know. It's definitely not a definitive thing you can say. Will he die in Avengers 4? He could.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why he won't be in anymore.
I mean, we've already speculated where they're going to get replacements.
Yeah. So
they're the ones littering the place with shields.
Yeah. So all you people out there writing these stories, okay. Yeah. You're just taking this out of context and you're going out of control with this, okay. Yeah. He's going to be with the MCU for as long as he wants to be with it.
Yeah.
As long as they're okay with keeping him around. If they don't want to kill him because they like him, they want to keep his character on, he's going to keep signing on, I guarantee you. There's no reason why he shouldn't.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants in between these movies because he doesn't do a lot of movies.
Yeah. And let's be honest, like, even if they kill him off in Infinity War or the next Captain America or whatever it is, it's not like he's going to be guaranteed to stay dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the comics, characters always come back. They find a way. And it hasn't really happened in the movies, but
you
know, you never know.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, just give the guy a break. Just let him. I mean, just let him do whatever he wants. Like
yeah, I mean, people are like, oh, you know, they also said Robert Downey Jr. wasn't coming back, but hey, he signed on. He's obviously in Avengers 4. He signed on for that. He signed on for Civil War. He signed extra for Spider-Man. Like, yeah. These guys are coming back. They're not going anywhere until.
Yeah, because I remember it was after. I think it was after Iron Man 2 came out. They were talking about how they wanted Iron Man to be basically like Marvel's James Bond, where once one actor got tired of playing it, they were just going to get somebody else and just have it all be in similar continuity.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to end up doing that.
Well, no, I don't think they're going to do that. Now because that was also really before they started really like bringing the whole thing into, because that was before Thor, because that was one.
Do you remember the story? It was a long time ago that the actor who plays Bucky was signed on for like something 9 pictures, some crazy nonsense. Stan, yeah. So like, who knows what they're doing with that? But they want these guys to stay around, and I don't think any of them are really opposed to it.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, why would they be?
Yeah.
I mean, I do, like, part of me still wishes that, you know, they could have stuck with Ed Norton for, you know, the Bruce Banner character, but I really like what Mark Ruffalo's done. But that's just because I'm a big Ed Norton fan, but yeah. But I mean, like, yeah, they're I don't see them recasting anytime soon for anyone. Like, now that this is all officially, like, in swing and, like, everything's in motion, and the only way that I could see somebody like opting out is if, you know, if it is like
if you look at the recastings, they were only characters from the first 2 Marvel MCU movies. That was it.
Yeah, Iron Man and Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. So we're talking. This is what, 2008.
Yeah.
So this is a long time ago. They're not messing around anymore. Like, they have this down.
Yeah.
So let's bring this to a close here. Well, not quite.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have the
final installment.
Right. The final installment of our villain ranking. We've got the top 10 coming up.
Yep.
It's exciting. I think everybody is totally in love with this segment here.
Yeah. Get prepared for a riveting hour of your life.
No, it'll be fun. You know, we love these movies and these characters, and these are the best ones. These are the best villains.
Yeah.
So
these are the ones where they're the ones that, like, you keep on coming back to, like, oh no, that one is strong. These are the ones that we want to see come back more.
Mm-hmm. And definitely give your opinions if you like to on you know, social media, Twitter.
Yeah,
email.
Yeah, like throw up you know, like an email to us, or on the YouTube, just let us know what your top 10 are, or you know, top 35 if you want, like, or where you think they sit on our list.
You don't have to do 35 like we did, but we had fun doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe you will too.
Yeah.
Try out our ranking system if you go back and listen to the first episode.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's fun.
Yeah.
All right. Coming up, we got the top 10 here.
Yep. All right.
Number 10.
Yep.
I have Zemo from Civil War.
Okay. So much higher than I had.
Yeah,
Zemo.
way higher.
Here's my second.
I know.
Bottom. I have Magneto.
All right. I'll go with Zemo first.
Okay.
Zemo,
reminds you of your favorite alcoholic clear beverage from the 90s, Zemo.
Yeah. There's been a lot of those weird spin-off versions of that come back now. But that's, 6. Okay, so Zemo, I gave you know, average, a little slightly above average on appearance, just because I like the actor they chose a lot. He doesn't, of course, have any costume. He is just a regular guy. Mm-hmm. So, but I gave him slightly better. I gave him a 6 just because I like the choice they gave, and I even like the choice of not giving him the costume.
Okay, yeah,
made sense for this movie because it was kind of ridiculous. Personality wise, again, I liked his conviction, his reasoning, the whole bit with his family talking on the phone thing. It was why, you know, not knowing that wasn't actually going on at the time, that was his whole motivation. And you know, he didn't have a lot of screen time, but what we got to see him in, like, he showed a lot of intelligence, you know, in the way he manipulated the situations. And then for threat, I mean, this is another one I give him a 10 because he succeeded. His plan worked. He got what he wanted.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it was a pretty small threat.
Well, but the idea that he wanted to take down the Avengers and split them up, and he did that. That's what he did. He got the two leads of the Avengers to fight each other almost to the death. You know.
Okay.
And that to me put him really high up on the list, and I just like the idea in the movie, the subtlety of him not being an actual physical threat, never having to ever fight anyone, and succeeding in his plan just through using everyone as sort of pawns and manipulating things.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. He's still really low on the list for me. Like, because he succeeded, but only in like creating like a Splinter Avengers team. Like, there's still
but he sort of destroyed their standing in the world in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You know, the way the government is going to treat them or approach them, and I hope this has a lasting effect. In the next movie in the future of the MCU. Yeah. So who'd you get?
Yeah. All right. My number 10 was Magneto.
Oh, right, Magneto.
I really like Magneto.
Yeah, he's very good.
You know, Ian McKellen, I think, is great casting. You know, I really like the look. I like, you know, what he brings to the role. He's compelling and charismatic and interesting, and you know, he genuinely believes that everything he's doing is for the best. He acknowledges that what he's doing is you know, in the wrong, but can be in the wrong, but he wants everything to be on an equal, like an even playing field. And I really like that. I love the look they gave him, where they had the minimalist stylized helmet, where he's recognizable as Magneto, but it's not overly strange. Where, like, if I saw the dude walking down the street, I'd be like, hey, that dude's in the cape, but that's a little weird, but he's an older guy, whatever, maybe he's a big fan of the opera. If I saw him wearing the helmet, I'd be like, okay, I'm calling the cops, because supervillain. Because let's be honest, unless you're riding a motorcycle or a bike, if you're wearing a helmet, like, you know, especially one like that, you're up to no good.
Yeah, definitely.
You're up to no good. But, you know, threat, I think he was, I thought he was relatively high. He, you know, just looking at, you know, the first movie, he's creating a movement.
He spans all three movies.
You know, he spent, you know, but yeah, he's basically starting something. He's starting a movement for, like, you know, not like mutant equality, but mutant first, and then he, you know, he creates the machine where, you know, he's able to, you know, he's trying to turn humans into mutants. Because he believes in mutant supremacy, and I thought that was, you know, really threatening. His power level, you know, is, you know, he's an Omega level mutant, like they say. Right. So there's essentially, like, there's not much he couldn't do, as long as he's got that helmet on. He could essentially stop the Earth from spinning.
Yeah, his powers are incredible.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that he could do. The threat, like, I'm actually rethinking. I want to bump his threat up a little higher.
Yeah, he ranks higher for me.
Yeah, talk to me into it. He's my number .01. Yeah, no, I'm good with him just being in the top 10. But yeah. All
right, so number 9, I actually have Abomination at number 9.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Wow,
I'm surprised at that too. Yeah. But who'd you have at 9?
I have Ego.
Ego. Okay. Yeah, Ego's up there pretty high for me too. So yeah, Abomination, I give him fairly high marks on appearance, because I actually really liked, well, of course the actor I thought was really good. Yeah. But I really liked the way they designed his monstrous appearance, you know. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, Doomsday looked a lot like him, but this came before. But this was interesting because compared to the comics, like, this actually looks much better.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that.
You know, and I like the bones, the weird bone structure jutting out in weird places.
Well, I remember
and
the
like
first
the
one.
Chest cavity and the ribs and stuff, and the weird like elbow bones and stuff. Really good design on that.
I just remember watching the movie and I was like, I don't remember Doomsday being a Hulk villain. But it worked for it. They took something that was kind of weak and made it better.
Yeah.
So I was into it.
Yeah, personality-wise, he got a pretty good mark because I liked his character. I liked that we got to know like what he was thinking and why he was deciding to do these things. He's a guy who definitely never achieved maybe what he wanted in life, and he saw this opportunity to be more, and to fight something that was incredible, and he took the chance, on this weird like experiment version of the super soldier serum, and tried to even fight the Hulk like without any powers, just as a dude tried to fight the Hulk. That was pretty badass. I like that a lot. And then he got owned for it.
Yeah, it was a really cool scene. Where I do love him like running up and like doing the flips and fighting, and up to and including when the Hulk just kicks him, just wraps him around a tree.
And that like ragdoll effect of him rolling and banging into the tree. Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
That
was really fun.
That actual scene right there was the scene where this was prior to Captain America, where I was like, oh, this is how awesome Captain America could be in a fight. Like this is an example of the things that he could do.
Yeah,
really cool. And as a threat, of course he was on par with, I thought, the Hulk as far as strength. He gave him a really good run for his money, and the Hulk just had to get angrier by the fact that his love was in danger, to actually finally overcome and defeat him.
Yeah.
As far as like a global world threat, I mean, that wasn't really, the movie wasn't ever really about that.
Yeah.
It's like that didn't really factor in for me.
Yeah. Ego. I was actually surprised that he ranked this high for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be a little unfair. It might like bounce up and down because the movie's still just really fresh with me. But yeah, I liked was it Kurt Russell? I liked his casting. I think the young guy effect that they gave him, earlier in the film, that was probably some of the best.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it.
Yeah, I thought
supposedly not so much CGI, apparently, according to the.
Yeah, so I mean that was really great. I thought that was really fun, but I think the casting, it was good, but it was kind of middle of the road. But I liked what they brought to it. I thought he was really interesting. I thought he, I liked his motivations. I still find it kind of questionable, like we said in the review, about, the whole thing of like, I loved your mom, and if I didn't kill her, then I would have gone back with her and been happy. Yeah. And I am kind of over superhero motivations of you killed my mom.
Yeah.
It's just been so overdone.
Yeah, we've seen it a lot.
But the threat, I gave him a 9 because he almost succeeded.
That. Yeah.
He almost succeeded, but he, was like the last second he was destroyed, but he could have completely rewritten the universe.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole universe was his goal. Yeah.
Yeah, so 9. It was huge, but.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on to number 8. Hopefully, maybe we can somewhere get one lining up here.
I really hope
we've got it. Like it's close.
I promise you, this one is not it.
Okay, number 8, Red Skull.
Yeah. Well, no, not at all.
Damn it. What do you got?
Okay, just wait. I just want to frame your face. I want to see you cringe. Obadiah Stane.
No, I wouldn't cringe. I mean, I wouldn't put him that high, but like I liked him.
Yeah. No, I really liked Jeff Bridges in the role. I loved I loved the look that they gave him. Even the Ironmonger suit, for what they intended to do with that it was essentially a prototype that was supposed to be more powerful, that explained away a lot of the jankiness with it. Mm-hmm. So I really liked that, and I think what really brought him up was the threat for the world, because just going beyond the Ironmonger, where he's, he was clearly more powerful than Iron Man, and it was really only because Tony Stark was smarter than him that he was able to defeat him. Going beyond that, he was a global threat because he was funding terrorists. He was supplying them with the most advanced weaponry in the world, and he was succeeding with that. So I actually gave him an 8 for the threat.
Okay.
So
yeah, I can understand that. I mean, mine was less. I didn't feel that if Iron Man wasn't there, like he couldn't have been stopped maybe by someone else later down the road. He might have,
Yeah.
But anyway, so I had Red Skull.
Okay.
Who I gave, very high marks on appearance because I absolutely loved the way they did him.
Looked incredible.
Look, the Red Skull, of course, like mask, prosthetic, whatever, how they did it, awesome. The costume was even great as well. Like just the uniform that he had, fantastic. The actor, of course,
Hugo
Weaving is incredible, always in everything he does.
Yeah.
As a personality, like I loved his over the top, like Nazi, like German god. His of course conviction again. So, common theme here, just being great at that. I loved it. Threat wise, I mean, he was a physical match again for Captain America. And he almost succeeded with his plan to have Germany essentially win the war. With his technology that he developed through using the Infinity Stone, and going to possibly destroy New York City with a nuclear bomb or nuclear type bomb type threat. I mean, he was an incredible villain, and he's one that him and like Abomination, they rank very high for me. I want them back. Like I would love to see them again.
Yeah, I would love to see the Red Skull again. I think you'll be surprised to see where he ends up on my list. And then there's only one other comment that I would add to it, but I'll wait till we get to my spot for the Red Skull with him. But I completely agree with everything that you said.
Yeah.
That all very much went into my ranking.
All right, we got number 7.
Yep. I
have much higher than you, the Green Goblin from Spider-Man 1.
I'm really... There's 3 villains left that we might be able to land one on even ground.
Yeah, right. Who do you got on 7?
I have the Joker.
Wow, it's 7. Okay, I would have expected a bit more. Tell me about the Joker.
He would have been so much higher, except the threat dropped him. Because he wasn't a physical threat to Batman. He was an intellectual threat. But he was even not only defeated, by Batman, but also by the people of Gotham, where you even have, you had the moment where it was the criminals, where you had the guy with the detonator, and he's like, give it to me, I can do it, and he throws it out the window, and he's like, we're not doing this, it's going to be on him. He was defeated by the people of Gotham. He was defeated by Batman, because Batman wouldn't break his one rule. He locked him up, so he completely lost, and it was just a very small, almost intimate threat, which worked beautifully for the movie.
Right, yeah.
But overall, I don't think he was really that great of a threat. But he got a 9 for personality. Heath Ledger just completely disappeared, and I was watching the Joker. It was incredible. The look, this was the role that made me realize that I don't need an origin story. I can just accept a threat for what it is, or a character for what it is. And,
absolutely.
And he just became the most memorable part of the movie.
He stole the show in that movie.
Yeah. So it was, if he was trying to do like a Bane level threat, or like a Ra's al Ghul level threat of like releasing a nerve toxin into the whole city, just to create chaos, he could have been my number 1. But because he was literally only doing everything just to go against Batman, just to keep Batman in check, basically, he was lowered. But
I might have given him higher ranks on that, but I have to. I could probably justify it a bit, but he ranks higher for me.
Yeah,
obviously.
I totally get it.
Yeah. So number 7 for me was Green Goblin.
Okay.
who, lost some marks on appearance because the costume was fine. I liked it. It worked in that time period, but it could have been better. Yeah. It was a little strange. The whole mask and not being able to see his face and move at all while he's wearing it was not great. But like him, the iconic look of him on the glider in that costume was still really cool.
It had an incredible silhouette, I'd say.
So like I still enjoyed it. I still liked it a lot. Mm-hmm. Personality wise, like I gave him a 10 because I loved his like duality of, being torn between, being that like that mentor sort of to Peter at times, but also, having that like psychological break. Yeah. Him, the incredible scene with him talking to himself, like in the mirror, talking to the Green Goblin.
His Gollum Smeagol moment.
Yeah, so good. That's incredible. Like,
yeah, when he started cursing out those tricksy hobbitses.
Yeah, it was better than I ever could have expected for that character. Like, just so amazing. And Willem Dafoe was just such a perfect casting, perfect performance. Yep. The scene with him in Peter's apartment where he's like where he figures out that he's Spider-Man. Just the tension build up from him being a jerk to his son, and this is great. Just so much personality there. I love that so much.
Yeah, no, Willem Dafoe is incredible, and I think we said a lot of the same stuff. I don't think he ranked as high with me, but
as a threat, physically, of course, he was a good match for Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Yeah. And as an overall like psychological threat to Peter was a big part of it too. Mm-hmm. Him being the father of his son, but also being sort of his surrogate father in a lot of ways. Him treating him so well, and like Peter like getting a liking to this guy, like thinking that this guy really cares about me. He wants me to do good, and he wants to help me. Things like that. Like there was the psychological factor that put him so high for me.
Yeah.
Number 6.
Number 6.
What do you got?
Okay, I'm just gonna call this really quick. I think it's gonna be spot number 2 or 3 that we're gonna match up. That's my theory.
Come on.
But I'm gonna say number 6 was General Zod.
Well, you had to know already because I didn't pick Zod.
Yeah.
I had him lower. I had Ultron at number 6.
Okay. We're narrowing the window.
Yeah, we're close.
But yeah, Zod. It's really kind of everything that you said. I just think that what really brought him up with me was the threat level to the world, because it wasn't just the fight where him and Superman destroyed half Metropolis that made Batman very grumpy. He was he had the two like world engines on either side of the earth where he was basically just
the terraforming.
He was terraforming.
Right.
Yeah.
He was going to kill all life on the planet essentially to make the Kryptonian race the dominant race on the planet.
So I mean that made me, for the most part, I thought I really liked. I love the portrayal. I thought the casting was great.
Yeah,
Michael Shannon, he's excellent. Yeah. But it was the whole world engine thing that made me bring the threat up to a 9. So. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I had Ultron, who, for appearance, I gave him, top marks because I love the look. That just looks the robot form like just so good, just awesome. I love it. And for a total CG character all the time, like first of all the effect is fantastic. Like the graphics, the stuff that they can do in these movies is unbelievable at times. Like you believe that robot is there in that movie at all times. You never doubt it.
Oh yeah.
And personality is where he lost some points for me.
Okay.
I did like his personality a lot. It was not what I expected, but I didn't want to totally say that was wrong to do.
Yeah.
So I did enjoy it. I liked his motivations. I just enjoyed all of that. And as a threat, of course, he was incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
He had an army of duplicates of himself. He could recreate himself anywhere in other robots at any time. He's very difficult to kill. Now it took obviously the entire team of the Avengers of incredibly powerful characters to defeat him.
Yeah.
His plan was essentially to wipe out all life on the planet, so it's a huge threat to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with most of that, and I'll get to that in a little bit.
So number 5.
Number 5. I had Alexander Pierce.
Oh, yeah, so I had Ego.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Pierce. I really like the casting. I thought he did a great job. Again, like it just, with me, it comes down to, he was just evil to the core, but a true believer that what he was doing might, was right for him. Maybe, and what was right for him, he believed was going to be right for the world.
Right. Yeah.
Threat. I actually gave him a 9 because, he was basically like he basically like had S.H.I.E.L.D. under his thumb, but he was also like, top in Hydra.
Yeah.
So he was basically controlling these two massive organizations, the one within the other, and he was just pure evil, and he kind of did succeed for a very long time, where he was still keeping Hydra going, with the help of, people that we later learn on from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and some of the better seasons. And yeah, I don't know. I loved his character. I loved the portrayal. I thought he was incredibly engaging, and, just the turn of realizing that, like, he's the one who's, basically making the world a worse place, even though the entire movie you're believing that he's making it better until that turn. It was just, I don't know, it was just incredible.
I definitely buy him as this high. For me, I guess it was sort of the system that we had here, the ranking that didn't let me get him that high. Yeah. Because I did like him a lot. It's just he doesn't stand out hugely in any way, but he works really well for that movie.
Yeah.
As a villain, for sure.
Yeah, and that was the other thing with him is, they dropped him a little, for appearance where like he was just a dude,
right?
But at the same time, he wasn't intended to be anything other. He wasn't a costume supervillain or anything like that. So I kind of, I bought, it made sense. Like he wasn't
with this the way we decided this. He sort of has to give that.
Yeah, it wasn't like where Zemo was just a dude.
Yeah.
In the comics, like it worked for the movie, but at the same time, like they could have done, I don't know, maybe something a little more. But that's where we covered Zemo.
Yeah. So I had Ego, and honestly, recently everything he's had. Yeah. I mean, there isn't really too much more to say on Ego. I like the connection, the father-son connection was really good, and that, of course, that moment where he tells Peter that he killed his mother, and Peter just tries to shoot the hell out of him. But
it's so weird that his mom's name was Martha too.
And then he turns into what's his name?
David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff briefly. Just great, like just all plays into his appearance that he could sort of kind of be anything, but he chooses to be like this, and he can.
He watched Starman and was like, I would have loved that. Nothing would have made me happier if they would have just been like, it was, I saw your mom, she went into this movie Starman, so I made myself look like the main character of that. Yeah. That would have been really, been a really great, like really meta, like in joke, but, well, actually, no, that wouldn't work because that was Jeff Bridges.
Yeah. But either way,
so many popular 80s actors.
Yeah, right. One of the things that they sort of do with this character that surprised me is that I didn't know he was the villain, but I sort of kind of would have thought he may have ended up being the villain, but we didn't quite know going in, and the movie never really, like, it sort of becomes obvious at a certain point, but you buy into it and you go along with this story and this thread with the movie, and it surprises you, but in ways that it hurts emotionally, and that was what was great about his personality and his character. So let's move on. Number 4.
Okay, 4 I think is one of 2 spots that we might line up. What do you got for 4?
It's not gonna happen this time. It's Magneto for me.
Darn, I have Loki.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that leaves us with only a few chances here.
Literally, there is one that we can line up on.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Magneto is, his appearance, the costume is fine. Like, it actually is not incredible. Maybe I could have gave him a little less, but I did. But the look works.
Yeah, no, very much works.
That helmet is fantastic. The actor. Ian McKellen's a great actor. I love him for the role. He actually gave him a 9 in appearance, and he lost that point. Really, for me, was the age. Like, he was just a little too old for me as Magneto. Like, he was like he was kind of a 60-year-old decrepit man when he should have been like a sort of more virile 50.
Well, okay, because this came out in 2000. He was probably, 14 in the 40s. So, yeah, I mean, the age works out.
I don't know. But contextually, yeah, for the story. Yeah. But what I mean is the casting that they chose for the character, I didn't like that he was that old. It didn't work for me. But it was fine because he was so good.
Well, they would have had to change him from a Holocaust survivor.
Right, yeah.
Which I think takes away a lot from the motivation.
Yeah. So, like, it makes total sense. And, like, it was only a little bit I took off because I just wanted him to be a little angrier. But it wasn't a huge problem. Personality-wise, I mean, great character, great motivation for everything you said. Yeah. You know, as a threat, I mean, his powers are just almost unstoppable. When you think of the various things that you can do, it's incredible that power set, that just the idea that he can control magnetism is it seems so simple, but yet it's incredibly deep, and there's so many things you can do with it. And his plan, of course, to make all the world leaders mutants in the first movie, but then he goes on to also be the villain of a lot of ways the second and third movie in some ways. Because in the second movie he ends up just trying to kill all humans instead of all mutants when he turns it around. And then in the third movie, I don't know, he's whatever that garbage movie, he's sort of the bad guy again.
Yeah. The third one's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, such a great, iconic villain, unforgettable.
Yeah, no,
deserves to be highly ranked.
Yeah, no, he's definitely made a mark. I think as far as movie, comic book movie villains, as being iconic, I think he's right up there with Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm. Can't really be done better. I mean. Fassbender's portrayal is also really, really good. He
was incredible. I love the arc that they gave the character. Mm-hmm. So Loki
number 4, huh?
He ranked really high in pretty much all categories. Personality was the highest. He was great. Like, he was super fun but menacing at the same time, and he just seemed so likable and relatable, and you buy that he's like the younger brother, and you're just kind of like pissy about stuff, but but then he finds out his backstory, and that he realizes that he was born to be a king, and he wants that, and he feels as though he deserves it. So I thought that was all very well layered in the character. Appearance I thought was really good. I like that they had kind of, most of the movie he was in like that middle ground, like believable, just like green kind of coat where you're like, he kind of looks like a dude from Earth, but every once in a while he goes full Asgardian with like
really cool effects with the horns.
And that looked really awesome. So I really enjoyed that. And then as far as the threat goes, he was it was kind of like. It was most definitely above average, but it was his execution that was just sloppy, so that kind of took it down a little. I think his heart was in the right place to create devastation, but and to rule. But I think he wasn't very as. I don't think he was nearly as meticulous as I would have hoped he was. I would have liked to see him.
No, he's the trickster guy. He's not necessarily, always coming up with the long-term plan,
Yeah, but if his intention is to rule over Earth, then I would have hoped that it would have been like much more thought out, than just like, hey, I'm going to team up with the Chitauri and just be like,
and now we're talking Avengers,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. All right.
So.
Is that all on that?
Yeah, that's all I really have for that.
All right, number 3.
Can
we get it? Can it be 3?
It is not going to be.
Damn
3.
it!
It is not going to be 3.
I don't know if we're going to match up at all.
We are not.
It's not happening.
No. Let me guess. Yours is Doc Ock.
Doc Ock, number 3.
Yeah, that's my number 2.
Doc Ock, man. I mean, I could have gone higher, but Doc Ock is.
Would have been much more interesting if you did.
Incredibly, just the mechanical arms. Okay.
Gorgeous.
Fantastic. Amazing.
Beautiful.
Just unbelievably cool. Just even the way that like the whole unit, like the mechanism goes on him into his spine and connects around him. I mean, it looks pretty much like the comics, but it's also a more sort of realistic,
it was
like grounded version.
Made sense.
Yeah, like we believed it better. And the even the way, like I love I guess tying into his personality with the way the arms were sort of like had an intelligence, like because they had
each one had kind of their own personality, or
well, they had a sort of like AI to them, right? So like they were sort of influencing the way he thought at that point, and just his character arc with Spider-Man, his motivations, you know, his wife and everything, and he was trying to, you know, make the experiment. He wanted to do something really good, but it ended up turning out bad for him. And you know, he lost some marks for me on threat level because, I mean, he was a physical match for Spider-Man, but in some ways I don't always believe that he would be. Yeah. You know, because Spider-Man punches him in the face. Why is he not knocked unconscious immediately? Yeah. But still, like, of course, the arms and the threat, like, he can definitely fight him. Yeah. They just didn't maybe exactly show me how that he should have been able to always, you know, stand up to him like that. But still, you know, a great character. So, you have to suspend your disbelief sometimes. Yeah. No, definitely. And his overall plan wasn't really anything to destroy or to stop. It wasn't, you know, he needed to be stopped, but he wasn't, you know, overall trying to, you know, it wasn't going to impact, I guess, the entire world that much. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't know how, I mean, that tritium bomb he was making, you know, toward the end, that could have devastated a fair chunk of the world. Yeah.
But yeah, so he got good marks there, but like, it's mostly because the look and the character, the appearance, the personalities is incredible. Yeah. Incredible.
So my number 3 was Ultron.
Wow. See, I'm actually amazed at how high we both ranked Ultron.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because the look of Ultron really brought it up. I honestly would have given him a 10, except for one petty little thing that really just kind of put me off. In the beginning of the movie, you actually see the Ultron, like an Ultron, like body, from the remnants of the Chitauri stuff that Strucker, however you say his name, Baron Strucker. He has it underneath, like the Leviathan, like he has it, and it looks like kind of like an earlier model of Ultron. You know, so there was some kind of design.
I don't remember even ever seeing that.
See, it was something that I noticed once and I never really thought of, and I rewatched the beginning of it when I was doing this list just to double check. So that was kind of a cool thing if that followed through, but what really kind of bothered me was one of the members of the Iron Legion, one of basically the Tony Stark drones. Yeah. He gets damaged, and the head unit of it is damaged in a manner to resemble Ultron. And that kind of just put me off. I'm like, that's way too convenient. It kind of took me out of it. And I'm like, either make it the coincidence or make it resemble the original Ultron robot that you see for a quick second in the beginning of the movie that you never go back to. So that dropped it a point once. It's a total petty thing. Yeah, right. Stupid, but it's something that I noticed. The threat I thought was huge. Yeah. Especially if, you know, given that the threat was him downloading into the Vision body.
Yeah, that part too was a huge.
If that happened, there would be no stopping him. That's true. I don't think there's anything they could have done. Fortunately, they got, you know, Vision, was able to take over Quicksilver, pulled all of the stuff, and we got Vision, who was a character that I really enjoyed. Mm-hmm. But just having him, like you said, it's a lot of the stuff you already said. I don't need to rehash, but you know, him being able to transfer his consciousness into all of the other bodies, that was incredible. But yeah, the personality dropped a little because it was a little too like mustache twisty, like old school tie the damsel to the railroad tracks like villain. Mm-hmm. You know, it was a little clowny, but it was still fun. So
yeah, I love one thing I want to bring up with him, that the moment where he became this like really unstable threat that I enjoyed was when he cuts off what's his name's arm, Claw's arm. Yeah. I was like, good, this guy is out of his mind right now.
Yeah.
And he needs to be stopped. Like, that was the moment where I was like, he can't be reasoned with anymore. Like, he's just gonna just do whatever he wants at this point. It was really cool.
Yeah. So that was really, I don't know, I really did enjoy Ultron. I think he was a much better villain than the movie deserved.
Well, I think the movie is something that I think people need to take another look at and not.
It's a good movie. It's a really great follow-up to the Avengers. It's as a movie on its own, I think it's riddled with studio interference.
Yeah, I mean a little bit. People point to that as one of the reasons it's not as good as maybe the first. But I mean, and of course, it has the impossible task of living up to the first movie.
Yeah, which is. Yeah. No, I was just gonna say it's just a great movie in of itself, whatever genre you want to look at it.
Right, and then are those couple scenes that are that world building like studio influence thing that seem out of place, but they don't really bother or affect the movie that much.
Yeah,
it's like it's a movie that it's really good. I really enjoy it. I watch it. I've watched it more than once. I'll watch it again. I enjoy it.
No, it is a really fun movie. And I think Quicksilver's probably one of my favorite parts in it. His back and forth that they have throughout the whole movie with him and Hawkeye.
Yeah, great stuff there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was so invested in those characters because I really enjoyed Hawkeye. Hawkeye, like from the first movie, which is weird to say because he wasn't really Hawkeye throughout most of the first movie, but I just like Jeremy Renner's portrayal, and just the what you didn't see that coming. Back and forth that they had. The last one, I might have teared up a little.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "What? You didn't see this coming?" And I was like, "God damn,
it's good." Yeah.
Like, how dare you make me feel this? I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. That's why Joss Whedon should be put in charge of like all of these universes because he will do that.
But we'll see what happens. Maybe he becomes the head of the DC thing at some point.
Fingers crossed.
So number 2 for me is the Joker.
All right. I have Doc Ock.
Okay.
Which I'm actually surprised he was not my number 1.
Yeah.
I really love that character.
Great character, yeah.
As
I said, I want to add to that. But...
Yeah, there's very little I have to add to that. I mean, he looks great. Alfred Molina is a brilliant actor. I love that.
Haven't seen him in a while,
Yeah, I mean. Like, honestly, the two roles that always come to mind if I think of him is Doc Ock and then the dude from the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay. He's in Maverick also.
Yeah.
And some movie called Not Without My Daughter, which is
a
movie that I don't know. I watched because of an ex-girlfriend, and I actually really enjoyed it.
But yeah, no, he's incredibly talented, and I just really enjoy. I really enjoyed what he did. I love that. Like I said, they gave each of the arms, unless he was controlling them directly, they seem to have their own independent thought or motivations. It was the threat could have been a little higher, but it was very just kind of intimate and personal, even though the bomb that he was creating that he could just kind of drown apparently. It could have been a much bigger thing. I don't think they ever really gave it a lot of scale, but
the way he's kind of defeated is sort of not great.
So dropped it down a little, but look and personality was so incredibly high.
Yeah, that's for me. Joker look and personality. I mean, and not what the comic books look like, but damn, it's just incredible. Vision and look for this character, like to make him in this much more grounded reality. To come up with a look that is so different from the movie but so accepted by everyone watching this movie is a really difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
And Heath Ledger, incredible performance. I mean, he makes this movie great. Well, you take him out of this movie, and I don't know that it's definitely not the great movie that everybody says it is without him.
Not at all, no.
And this movie to me is just a moment to moment of like when am I going to see Joker again? Because every time I watch this movie, I'm like, can I see him another? When's the next Joker scene? I want another Joker scene. Like, I just want to see more of him every time, all throughout this movie.
Yeah.
And no one else. Everyone pales in comparison to him in this movie. Not that. What's his name? As the Two-Face wasn't good. Oh, we didn't have Two-Face, but he's not really.
He was so minor.
Yeah.
Because he was Two-Face for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Aaron Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart was very good as well, and Christian Bale actually sort of takes third place in this movie as far as acting goes, because I like him, but he doesn't really.
I would actually put Gary Oldman above Christian Bale.
That's true. Yeah,
and
could be number 4.
No, I'm not gonna lie. This is not Christian Bale bashing. I do enjoy him as Batman, but if you're ranking I would say Heath Ledger, Aaron Eckhart, probably tied with Gary Oldman. I would actually put Michael Caine above them. I would put him as number 2. Okay. So yeah, he's like 5. He's 5 for me. Okay, completely different list.
Yeah, right. As a threat,
because we're over 3 hours now.
It's not this is gonna get edited down. Yeah, it's not gonna work out this way.
Yeah.
But as a threat, I mean, he's obviously not a physical threat for Batman. He never should be.
Yeah.
And I give the credit, all the credit in the world for not doing that, because.
Yeah, no, it's great that they just made him the menace.
Yeah, because time and time again I see Joker fighting Batman, whether in animated form and other places, and I'm like, he can't fight Batman. He has no ability to fight Batman.
Yeah.
He just doesn't.
Taking out a Robin with a crowbar, maybe.
Yeah. But I mean, and his plan of just chaos theory, but he does succeed in destroying Two-Face. Harvey Dent. So that's a big win as far as threat goes, because he did succeed there, and he ultimately, it's not about the final did they blow up the boats or not? Yeah, his last thing didn't work, but that's. It's kind of superfluous, because he succeeded with the Harvey Dent thing, and that was his biggest goal. The whole thing was, everything else seemed like sort of a distraction for that.
I don't know. It just seemed like everything he was doing was about corruption. It was trying to prove that people could be corrupted. Right. I always thought that with the character, that it was, because they never gave him a backstory. I always kind of gave him the personal backstory, or the headcanon, that he was a good person, and that something happened in his life that corrupted him, and that warped him, because he was just like the Jim Carrey and Truman Show, just like the super awesome neighbor that was super friendly and everybody loved, and then something happened to him that just completely tortured and twisted him, and he wanted to prove that it wasn't just him, it was the entire world. That was the headcanon that I kind of gave it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a character that lends it to that kind of
and also as a threat physically. I mean, yes, he can't fight Batman, but Batman can't fight him, because physically attacking the Joker in this movie proved to be pointless to ever. Yeah. It's like the great scene with, of course, in the interrogation scene, it just didn't matter to him, because he had this whole plan. He knew it. You do whatever you want to me, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's like, you can kill me. Everything's already in place.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. No, that was great.
All right.
Number one.
Obviously, we know who's each other's number 1.
I haven't been paying full attention. Wait, what do you think is my number 1?
Your number 1 is Red Skull.
Okay,
yeah. And my number 1 is Loki.
Okay, yeah. All right, yeah. I think you have the more popular number 1. I think that's what most people would probably say would be.
I don't think anybody would really have thought Red Skull number 1. Now, I really like Red Skull. Yeah. I had him in my top 10 at number 8.
I think the whole thing with Red Skull that really kind of pushed him over the top was the threat to the world that he was. Because he was defeated, but everything he was doing lived on.
I mean, Hydra is his creation. Hydra still exists to this day.
Depending on if you enjoy Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, if you go by S.H.I.E.L.D., right, it's not really.
So in canon, okay, as Hydra is the organization that had continued on throughout the movies, he created, being the branch.
Yeah, it is what it is because of him.
Yeah. So, I mean, he completely succeeded. For them to have infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. and corrupted it the way that you saw throughout the movies, he 100% succeeded.
Yeah, and that's sort of the cheat that puts these guys higher, I think. The influence over another movie. Yeah, Loki being in multiple movies as well.
Yeah, which Which I think for Red Skull, I think that speaks volumes because he really was only in the one movie. Mm-hmm. The organization that he shaped, continued on through. But as a physical threat to Captain America, he was equally, if not stronger. He was, I don't know if he was more intelligent, but definitely more well-read on things, where he was more aware of things like, science, technology, chemistry. Right. That's not to say that Steve Rogers couldn't figure that all out. He just, he was a kid from Brooklyn, and weighed like 80 pounds soaking wet. So, but he was very much that. He was the true believer. He looked incredible. Hugo Weaving brought so much to the role. It was so compelling for something that could have been so goofy and stupid. So
absolutely.
I will say really quick for my list though, he tied with Doc Ock. So they both got. My highest score was a 24. So I don't know what your highest score was.
Yeah, maybe I was a little more liberal with my points. No, Loki.
Yeah, they got a 48 out of 30.
Loki's a 30. I gave him top marks on everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's surprising.
That's sort of how I thought maybe I would get to the top of the list. Someone had to do that.
Oh yeah.
But anyway. Yeah, Loki. So one thing I want to say about Red Skull, for anyone listening, if you care at all. If you're somebody who works for any of these, if you know anybody in Marvel, if you know Hugo Weaving, demand that this character come back.
He comes to Carl's birthday.
No. Demand that this character
16th.
reappear somewhere in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because we need more of him. He was so good. We didn't get enough of him. I want more.
I desperately wish there was a way for them to bring him back convincingly.
They definitely can.
Yeah.
They left it open. He's not gone.
Yeah, no, it would be something I would love to see. I'm in complete agreement. My two favorite comic book movies, I think of all time, are Captain America: The First Avengers and X-Men: First Class. I think they're just incredible movies from start to finish, and I would love to see more of both of those.
For sure,
handled the same way.
Yeah. So Loki at number 1 for me. Again, like I said, there's a little bit of a cheat in that he's in multiple movies, but that's just how it goes. Joker might have been number 1 if he got to be in more than one movie.
Yeah. If Heath Ledger didn't die, I know there was some talks that he was gonna have a bigger role in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. Loki, the costume is great. I love the look of it, whether it's the full, like you said, the horns and everything. Mm-hmm. The actor Tom Hiddleston, amazing. Yeah, perfect choice. Mm-hmm. Great personality. Love threat level for me, he does succeed in a lot of ways because early on he basically tricks Odin into banishing Thor. So that's a huge part of his success. And of course you could go into the fact that as of the end of Thor 2, he has successfully taken over
he's
Asgard replaced Odin. So again, another success there. Avengers being his sort of kind of folly, but I don't know that it really mattered that much to him. He seemed to care, but whatever, he lost.
Yeah. The character is definitely progressing with each movie and each appearance.
We got to see so much of him, but just going off of the first movie, him being the brother and friend, of Thor in the beginning, and you're not really thinking that he should be such a bad guy, but then finding out who his real parentage was and everything, how that influenced his personality, and him just manipulating everybody to get what he wants. That's perfect, spot on casting, character, personality, everything perfect, just perfect. You can't do that better. Just can't.
Debatable, but I think I was a little more critical with my list, given that nobody received a perfect score.
I guess if I had to say one thing you could do better with Loki, which is magic, I sort of want more magic illusion stuff or whatever, but I want to see him do more things with that, and maybe we will get that in Thor 3. But
I would like to see, because it seems at this point it's a complete throwaway thing. I think I would like to see a little bit more of the tie-in to him actually being a frost giant, because that seems to be completely forgotten.
As his Norse mythology is really bizarre, so you could just let that go.
Well, Yeah, but Norse mythology and comic books are, they're two separate entities.
Well, they're very different, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think there's a lot more that they could do with the character. I do enjoy everything that they've done. I don't disagree that he's not, like, an incredible character. I do think that they might have overused him a little. But, it's not that I don't enjoy him on the screen. I actually think the best thing that I've seen with him was in a very bad movie. Well, not a very bad movie. One of probably the worst of the Marvel movies. Yeah, so it's still pretty good. Thor 2.
But he's got some good moments in there.
Yeah, I think my favorite moment with him was the scene where he's in the dungeon or the prison.
Yeah.
And he's kind of in the decadent room, and he's like, they're basically like, I think it's like Thor is saying like, no, I this is an illusion, and then he's like, I know our mother's death is affecting you, and like he drops the illusion, and the whole room is just destroyed. He's sitting in the corner, and you
see like how terrible he looks. Like he's so emotionally.
I thought that was such a great moment in the movie.
Right, he's got a lot of good moments, even in a movie that is a lower, not that great, still enjoyable, but seeing him sort of team up with Thor was cool at that point. You know? I'm excited to see more of him in Thor 3. Like I like his character a lot. Yeah. Great character.
Yeah.
And that's going to bring this list to a close here.
Yeah.
Quite lengthy.
Yeah. By our standing, it's 3 hours and 15 minutes. It won't be that long for you guys. It'll be broken up a little. Make it a little more bearable.
Yeah, right? All right. So this has been The Superhero's Journey, episode number 6. My name is Carl Freemerman.
I'm Brian Shores.
And find us on Twitter at Superhero Journey, no E in super. Follow us there. Write to us at thesuperheroesjourney@gmail.com, where heroes is plural, not possessive.
Yep. And then whatever platform you're listening to this on, just leave us a review and, just rate us. It'll just help anyone who's listening find us, good or bad. Just, let us know how we're doing. And this is really just a start of a conversation, so we want to talk to you guys.
Exactly. Yeah, and if you leave some comments somewhere, we'd love to have your feedback and read comments on the show. Plan to do that eventually.
Yeah.
So get on there. Maybe you'll be the first.
Yeah.
We got YouTube videos as well. In case you don't know, we put the show up on YouTube as well, so you can comment there. And it's just the audio for the most part. We got a graphic and it's something that Brian drew himself.
Yep.
He's the artist here.
Yeah. Finally put that college education to good use.
So enjoy Superhero's Journey.
Yep.
Bye.
Thanks.